All right. All right. Third time is the charm. Welcome everyone to today's webinar on the updates for SAVAF 2026's program report. If your agency also receives DBPT 2025, some of these new questions might look familiar, but nonetheless, we're going to go over all the updates and highlight everything that's new for this new program report template. Can everyone see the screen? Yes. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So first things first, please keep your lines muted during the presentation. We will be recording this, so we don't want any interruptions. It will be posted on the website later if you need to review this or the slides at any point during this grant cycle. Please utilize the chat box as well. My co-host Becky will be monitoring it for any questions or any concerns you may have, and we will also allot time for a Q&A at the end if there are any questions you'd like to ask on mic. So first things first, here's the agenda for today. We're going to go over a general overview as well as new updates for FTE calculations, the different portions of the SAVAF reporting page. Again, things that are new, things that are returning, any changes. And then, of course, we will go over any important details, any important changes. All those things will be highlighted. And then we will have our Q&A and end the presentation. So first things first, all of these changes are going to be effective at the beginning of the SAVAF 2026 grant cycle. All the new questions that have been added, again, they are going to be highlighted. So everything that's new will be made clear in the presentation, and these slides will be available on the website afterwards. So first things first, this should be a familiar question if you're a returning subgrantee. The first question we will ask on that SAVAF reporting page is going to be regarding your full-time equivalent staff or FTE. So this should be your grant funded staff. This should not be the total staff you have, just the staff funded by SAVAF. And we have added to our resource page, if you're unfamiliar, a brand new FTE calculator to assist you in figuring out what that number is. You should be reporting on this number to the second decimal point, and we will go into that new FTE calculator right now. So in case you're unfamiliar, this is what the calculator looks like. It is an Excel form. The first step you will have to fill this out will be that circle, that red circle right there. That is your total available hours in your program's work week. What this means is if your agency does 40-hour work weeks, if they do 37 and a half, 35, you will enter the total numbers of hours allotted for your full-time work week. It is automatically set to 40, but if you need to change it to 37 and a half, 35, like I said, you'll just edit that little 40 all the way to the left. That will then automatically populate that total available hours in the program's work week in the gray box in that middle part. You do not edit that gray box. So I need to locate my mouse. The next step is you are going to enter the names and positions of all of your grant-funded staff. As I said before, your FTE should only be including the grant-funded staff that work on this program. You should not be including anyone else who is not a grant-funded staff member for your program. If they are funded on a different grant, if they're not grant-funded, you will not need to include them on this calculator. So just names, positions. In this example, we have Sally, Sandy, and Randy. For this grant, there we have an executive director, victim advocate, and an admin assistant. So that is just that step, pretty simple. The next, like I said, we will not be editing that gray box, so we'll jump on over to the step 3 column, and you're going to enter the total number of hours that this staff member works on average for the reporting period. So if the staff member is full-time, you would be entering in that full-time hour equivalent. So of course, in this hypothetical scenario, Sally and Sandy, this is an agency that does 40-hour work weeks, and they're full-time. They work 40 hours each. However, Randy is a part-time staff member, and he on average works for 25 hours a week. So that will indicate whether or not this is a full-time or part-time staff member and then help you calculate the FTE accordingly. The last step is the grant allocation percentage. So you'll enter what percentage the staff member is funded at. If you would like to use actual time, you can for the reporting period, but you will enter that grant allocation. So as we can see, Sally is 15% allotted to this grant, Sandy is 100% grant funded, and Randy is just 25% grant funded. Once you enter that grant allocation percentage, the FTE for each individual staff member will auto-populate next to each percentage. At the top of that column, under total number of FTE, that's in the yellow circle, it will automatically add up all of those FTE to your total FTE for your program for the reporting period. If a position is unfilled, they should not be included in the FTE. If they're unfilled for the reporting period, that is. And you will enter that number into your program report. So if you're unsure about your FTE, you can always use this form. You are welcome to attach this form to your program report if you'd like, but it is not required. But yes, so that will calculate it for you. You'll want to make sure to enter it as it appears there. So to the second decimal point, as previously mentioned. There will be a link to the resource page on the program report, so you can easily find this form. Next thing is the individuals served. So our first question will be asking about the total individuals served as part of the funded activities for your SAVAF program. This will be both new and returning individuals. Please note that for your first SAVAF program report, all individuals, whether they are returning from SAVAF 2024, if you are a recipient of that, or they're brand new for SAVAF 2026, should be reported here. That is because SAVAF 2024 is a separate grant. So when this new cycle starts, a new grant has started. So for just that first program report, everybody will be new. On subsequent reports, you will have the number of new and returning, and that should be for the new individuals, unless everyone started during the new reporting period and nobody carried over from PR1, then those numbers should be different. But for the new individuals, that is going to be the number that we report on a few of the subsequent slides, and I'll highlight when it should be just new individuals or new and returning. So when you enter your new number of individuals, the next question is going to be a table asking for the sex of each individual. So the number of women, number of men, number not specified, and then the number of children and youth. That total number served at the very right should total your new individuals on each program report. Please note that for the demographic questions that I highlight as new clients only, the demographics for those returning clients will have been recorded on the program report where they were new. So it is very important to pay attention to whether or not it should be just new individuals or just or new and returning. That way you aren't duplicating reported data. So next we have our age and race demographic tables. These should be for new individuals for this reporting period only. So new SAVAF funded clients only. You'll have the age table, which of course has the options listed there. And the number that auto sums at the bottom should total your new clients. So you shouldn't have more or less. In addition, the total number of 0 to 12, 13 to 17, and unknown child age, that should equal the number of children indicated on the first table. And then the rest can be your men, women, unknown. So you'll want to make sure that the numbers do line up with the sex table that we just previously went over. When it comes to race and ethnicity, this should also only be new clients, but we do understand that some of your clients may identify as multiple races or ethnicities. So this should equal to or be greater than your new clients, depending on those cases where someone may check more than one box. All right. Next is our other demographics. So please note that we have a new data point we're collecting for this grant cycle. So we'll be asking for the number of new youth. So again, all new clients for this table, no returning clients. new youth ages 13 to 17 who are receiving services due to being a victim of sexual violence. We're also going to be asking for new individuals who have disabilities and new individuals who are veterans. That veteran status is one of our brand new questions. So make sure you are collecting that data and indicating if any of your clients that are funded by our SAVAF programs are veterans. Next, we will have services to victims. Of course, we have definitions included on the program report. So if you're not sure if the activity qualifies, say, under support groups, individual group counseling, we do have the definitions of those things included on the program report to help you clarify those things. But this will be for both new and continuing individuals. This isn't demographics for clients. This is just talking about the services you've provided over this reporting period. So any services that apply under those boxes that are given to both new and returning individuals, you'll make sure you list them there under the client column to the right. And that is all you need to do there. Last, we have the county demographics. So this is going to be asking for the county of origin of your clients. This should be for all SAVAF funded clients, both new and continuing. We're not only collecting new, we are collecting both new and continuing, to emphasize that. So please ensure also all clients that are both new and continuing are included in this table. If you do not know the county of origin of one of your clients or they did not indicate this, there is an unknown option in the drop-down box. Please note that the template these screenshots are for is on Microsoft Word, so this might look a little different in IntelliGrants, but there will be a drop-down box on the left there where you can select counties including unknown. So if you're not sure, make sure you're selecting unknown, but you should be collecting the county of origin of all clients. Barring very specific circumstances, there should not be a report where you do not, where all clients are unknown. You should be collecting that data going forward. So next, we have community education. This is for the total activities conducted for your SAVAF report. So you should be indicating the number of presentations you've given to adults / general population and youth, and the number of participants in each, in the total number of participants in these sessions. Again, this isn't for new returning. This should just be for the community education participants you have as part of any community education activities you do with SAVAF funding, if you do any. Next, if you are also a DVPT recipient, this might look familiar. We also do, of course, offer flex funding as an allowable expense under SAVAF. So if you have this in your budget, I know not everyone does, but if you have this in your budget, we will be asking that you report on if you use SAVAF flex funding during the reporting period, and if so, how much did you use and what did you use it on? Again, this is for SAVAF flex funding, so you should only be reporting what is claimed on your accompanying fiscal reports for that period. So if you're a monthly reporter, you'll be reporting on what is claimed and approved on your fiscal report for FR 1 through 3 for that first program report, and so on. So this will need to match what is reported and approved on your accompanying fiscal report. There will also be check boxes, so you can check what this was used on. There's also an other option that will have a text box. So for any of those things that fall outside of course, those rental and deposit, transportation, common expenses, you'll have an option to write those in. This is important for us to capture the reach and use of flex funding, so we can get more data about the impact that this is having in your local community. So if you have any questions about this, of course, I know this one is new, and because it does have to match the fiscal report, please feel free to reach out or contact your grant manager or myself or Becky. We are always happy to help clarify how to utilize this question. This is also new for the program report. This next point, we are going to start asking about ICESA engagement and support. Of course, if you're unfamiliar, ICESA stands for Indiana Coalition to End Sexual Assault. And we are going to be recording or requesting that you report and recording your answers to your engagement with the coalition. So that can be technical assistance training, data reporting, any leadership meetings. We have those 4 check boxes. So you'll just let us know what kind of engagement you've had with the coalition over the reporting period that your program report corresponds to. And there will also be a text box available if you need any further support or anything from ICESA for your agency in regards to your programming. There will be, again, a text box, and we will be recording those answers so that we can compile and provide the feedback to ICESA on a quarterly basis. So this isn't just you're telling it to us and then it's in a vacuum. We will be sharing your responses with ICESA, so they're aware of the feedback and how to best support. Last but not least, we will be asking about the impacts and challenges. This is a returning question. It will just be 2 free response questions. Each text box has a limit of 4,000 characters. And we're just going to be asking for question 1, you describe the impact of SAVAF funding as it has in the reporting period. So any impact you've noticed over the reporting period you're reporting on. And the next question is any challenges your SAVAF funded program has faced this reporting period. So if you're noticing any challenges, barriers, things that are affecting the success of the program, perhaps not positively, you will have an opportunity to talk about that there. Please note that it kind of was I kind of touched on it earlier indirectly, but going forward, all program reports for SAVAF are going to be quarterly. So you can still have monthly fiscal reports or quarterly fiscal reports, depending on your preference, but all program reports are going to be due quarterly and they will report on the previous quarter. So as emphasized before, for those flex funding questions, your PR1 will report on flex funding from FR1 to FR3. PR2 will report on those requests from all data from PR4 to PR6. So again, make sure that all the data you're reporting encompasses all 3 months and not just 1 month. I do know this is a change from the prior SAVAF because we were doing monthly reporting period there if selected, but this time it is only quarterly program reports. All right, so we kind of flew through that presentation, but does anyone have any questions? Becky, are you seeing anything in the chat?
No, there aren't any questions in the chat.
Okay. All right. I will give people a minute to, it doesn't look like we have much external participation, but I'll give anyone a minute to pop in and ask a question. I'll hold this until I think 10:27 just to give anyone an opportunity to pop in and ask something. But if you need to, if you don't have any questions and you need to get back to any loose ends you need to tie up before the New Year holiday, I hope you have a great holiday and thanks for joining. But on that, we'll hold this for about 2 more minutes for anyone to pop in and ask questions. All right, it looks like 2 minutes has passed and we haven't had anyone pop in and ask any questions. Becky, is that still the case?
That's still the case.
Okay. Well, if you're watching this recording at a future date, or if you're here now and anything pops up that you didn't think of during this webinar, of course, we will still be available for questions and support. You can reach out to your grant manager, or you can always reach out to myself, Becky, or our division director, Kim. The contact information, the email is listed for everyone on this screen. So feel free to make a note of that. These slides will also be posted on the website. So if you need these again, any later date, we will have these available to you. I hope everyone has a good New Year holiday, and thanks to everyone who was able to join us. Stay safe and enjoy your time.